I thought my early access experience would prepare me for launch, and I was completely wrong. Within my first few days, I made several mistakes that I really wish I could take back. So before you start your adventure, here are the biggest beginner mistakes I made and what you should do instead. By the end of this video, you'll know how to save time, earn money faster, build a stronger blob team, and avoid some of the frustrations that caught me completely off guard. Thank you to the developers and publishers for providing early access to the 1.0 build of Ova Magica. One of the first assumptions I made was thinking Ova Magica followed the same pacing as most farming games. It doesn't. The game only has 3 seasons in a year: Solis, Ceres, and Frigus. More importantly, each season lasts 5 weeks, and each week only has 4 days. That means time moves much faster than you might expect. If you plant crops without paying attention to the calendar, you can easily find yourself scrambling to finish goals before the season ends. The good news is that this also means festivals come around incredibly often. Every other 4th day is Festival Day, giving you constant opportunities for rewards, minigames, and seasonal activities. A word of warning though, I saw an item I wanted in the festival shop and immediately bought it. Then I played the festival minigame and won the exact same item as a reward. I ended the day with a duplicate item and fewer coins. Now I always finish every festival activity first before spending money. Learn from my mistake, your wallet will thank you. And once I realized how quickly the calendar moved, I started planning around festivals instead of treating them as occasional events. This includes earning relationship points with the romanceables. While you can talk to them twice in festivals, earning 2 points, heart events cannot be triggered, so plan accordingly. It's best to leave at least 2 relationship points less from when you're going to the festival so you won't waste time. But why is friendship important? At first, I thought friendships were mostly for story content, and I couldn't have been more wrong. Friendship levels unlock practical rewards, useful items, new quests, exploration companions, transportation options, and perhaps most importantly, skill points. That's right, the skill points you'll use throughout the game come directly from building relationships. So if you're only talking to characters occasionally, you're slowing your own progression without realizing it. The romanceable I recommend befriending early is Jasper. Because not only will he give you the hoverboard when you reach friendship level 1, you start from 0, but his blob is a magma type, which is good to bring in the first blob world. Some romanceables will be available to become exploration companions after reaching friendship level 1, but others may need a few more levels. Bringing companions into the blob worlds gives you extra support during battles, additional survivability, and even friendship gains while exploring. There really isn't much downside. If you're heading into a dangerous world, bring backup. And remember, you can have up to 3 blobs with you. Here are the early available blobs you can get. One feature I almost ignored completely is challenging characters to battles. Then I realized how many rewards were attached to it. Winning battles improves friendship, grants items, and strengthens blobs, both theirs and yours, which helps with future exploration. It's one of the activities in the game where you're progressing multiple systems at once, and those are usually the activities worth prioritizing. And you can do this early on. And when my blobs started running low on health and energy from all the battles, I kept looking for complicated solutions. Meanwhile, the answer was literally sitting on the beach. Oysters can be gathered year-round and make fantastic early game recovery items. The same goes for forageables. They can be easily overlooked, but they can be used for feeding blobs, crafting, cooking, and curing status effects. Those free resources save a surprising amount of money over time. By the way, your blobs have cravings, and you can find them here. Meeting a blob's cravings increases its health and energy, making it stronger in battle and more effective when using special abilities. Those little food requests may seem insignificant at first, but they're not. Think of them as one of the easiest ways to strengthen your team over time. In my gameplay, most of their cravings are fruits, which you can get from the daily health wheel. My next mistake hurts. I love making giant farms in farming games, so naturally, I started expanding my fields as quickly as possible. The problem is that Ova Magica gives you a single watering can with limited water capacity. Suddenly, my relaxing morning routine became a full-time job. If you're anything like me, resist the temptation to go too big too soon. Instead, focus on getting a turtle blob. Turtle blobs have a sprinkler ability that waters crops. Once I unlocked that, farming became dramatically easier and much less time-consuming. Sometimes the best upgrade isn't a better tool, it's the right blob. I was pretty lucky in getting the turtle blob pretty early by fishing at the beach, but in case you're having trouble, there's the wishing star item, which helps you guarantee you'll get a blob egg after battle. To make these, you will need 5 star shards and 1 coal in the furnace. You can get star shards and other ores from the shooting star event. Make sure you don't leave the map you're in during the event to be able to maximize the ores you can get. I realized Ova Magica has a surprisingly expensive early game. Tool upgrades cost money, buildings cost money, blueprints cost money. And while farming helps, it wasn't actually my biggest moneymaker. The mistake is treating crops as your only source of income. One of the most profitable things I found early on was fishing, especially because fishing can trigger blob battles that occasionally reward blob eggs. Eventually, you'll start getting duplicates. And instead of hoarding every egg, consider selling extras. Those sales funded a surprising number of my upgrades and helped me progress much faster than farming alone. But if you find that too difficult, selling meals is another profitable way. The skill basic dishes will also help you increase the selling price of dishes made out of 2 ingredients. And there's already a campfire available at the beach right away that you can use for free. It sounds like a small thing, but during your first few days, every resource matters. Saving those materials meant I could focus on more important upgrades and work toward unlocking my blob hut sooner. Another thing to note is that Ova Magica has a high demand system that changes daily. Certain items can sell for 3 times their normal value. Once I started checking the high demand board before selling, my income increased without changing anything else about how I played. A little patience can be worth a lot of extra money. The mines scared me at first. Wild blobs chase you, resources feel limited, and it can seem easier to ignore mining altogether. But avoiding the mines only delays progress. The resources you gather there are essential for tool upgrades, and upgraded tools make nearly every other activity easier. You don't have to rush deep into the mines immediately. Stay near the entrance, collect what you can, and build confidence gradually. Before long, those early enemies become much less intimidating. And if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to subscribe so you're always in the loop for the latest on farming and life sim games, updates, and gameplay tips. Leveling up blobs was probably the most confusing mechanic in the entire game for me. I kept wondering why my blobs weren't becoming stronger the way I expected. What I eventually learned is that skills matter just as much as the blob itself. Every skill contributes toward different stat growth. That means 2 blobs of the same species can develop very differently depending on which skills they use. In this example, using dash attack and reaching 100% will increase my blob's attack. Using Zen and reaching 100% will increase defense, while using Earth Whirl and reaching 100% will increase speed. Once I understood this, team building suddenly became much more strategic and much more fun. Once you unlock breeding, it's tempting to throw 2 cute blobs together and see what happens. And honestly, that's still fun. But if you want stronger offspring, pay attention to the skills and special abilities being passed down. Try your best to get skills that increase each of the 3 stats. Breeding isn't just about appearance, and the better your breeding decisions are today, the stronger your future blob teams become. If your blobs stop producing useful resources, check their happiness. A blob's happiness depends on things like care, cleanliness, temperature, decorations, and attention. The mistake is treating the hut like simple storage, but your blobs perform better when they're actually comfortable. Reaching max happiness on your blobs can be rewarding. For blobs that produce items, they'll produce 2 items per day instead of just 1. For blobs that are breeding, their brood egg will have a chance to become a radiant blob, which has a special kind of mutation and a rainbow sheen on the blob. Although you may also need to feed the breeding blobs some of their cravings to make sure their brood egg reaches max happiness. Feeding them, petting them, and shoveling their poop are pretty straightforward. The trickier ones for me are the decorations and the temperature. You'll need 10 decoration items in your barn to reach max happiness for decorations. One of the easiest early decorations you can craft is the colored egg. You can get the recipe from the Painted Eggs Festival for 5 painted eggs, and you only need 1 painted egg to craft it. For the temperature, different blobs have different preferred temperatures, so we have to figure out which temperature is just right for them. For some blobs, just being in the correct season is enough. But for others, you may need to add an air conditioner, heater, or even a thermostat to help with their temperature needs. And the blueprints for these can be bought from Flint. These mistakes ended up teaching me something important about Ova Magica. The game is actually very forgiving. You can recover from almost any mistake, but knowing these systems ahead of time lets you spend less time correcting problems and more time doing the fun stuff like building your farm, collecting blobs, experimenting with breeding combinations, exploring new worlds, and getting to know the people of Clover Town. And if Ova Magica has caught your interest, and you're wondering what other cozy farming and life sim games are worth keeping an eye on, the next video is perfect for you.